My Hero Academia fell off. How many times have you heard that before? Over the last couple of years, it's been pretty popular to hate on the series. And even though most of it's been way overblown, in my opinion, some of it was kinda justified, because the series made a mistake no shonen should ever make. But season 6 has been unlike any of the previous seasons, in a good way. It's almost like an entirely different series. Today, I want to talk about the mistake My Hero Academia made and how it fixed that mistake in season 6. The mistake My Hero Academia made was getting too comfortable. Now you may ask, what the hell does that even mean, Moodley? Well, before I get into that, we have to go over narrative structure. Usually, longer series can be split up into 3 different acts, with an occasional prologue and epilogue. The first act is an introduction to the world and the main conflicts the protagonists of the story have to deal with. The second act is the development of the characters and the conflicts in the story. And the third act is the finale, where the story reaches a climax and all of the conflicts come to a conclusion at the end. The problem with My Hero Academia begins with the end of the first act. An act is usually divided into 4 main parts: the introduction, the build-up, the climax, and the resolution. To analyze what My Hero Academia did wrong, I'll be comparing it to its sibling series, Black Clover and Demon Slayer, without any major spoilers, of course. All 3 of these series start Act 1 by introducing their world as well as the main character and his goals. Tanjiro trying to cure his sister in a world where demons exist, Asta trying to become the Wizard King in a classist magic kingdom, and Deku trying to save people and become the #1 hero in a supernatural society. Then comes the build-up. Demon Slayer's build-up is Tanjiro's encounters with different demons and him meeting different people. Black Clover's build-up is all of Asta and the Black Bulls' confrontations with the elves and how their plans unfold. My Hero Academia's build-up is Season 2, where Horikoshi develops all of his characters and foreshadows an incoming change in the world. All of this build-up leads to the Act 1 climax of all 3 of this series, where the good guys have a final battle and put everything on the line against the villains. So far in Act 1, all of the series do well. Black Clover had a slow start, but by the climax, it definitely solidified itself as a good story. Demon Slayer didn't have much depth to it, but it was still really enjoyable all the way through. But while you can make an argument for the other 2 series having a better climax, My Hero Academia had a better overall Act 1. From the introduction to the climax, in my opinion, it was probably the most enjoyable of the 3. It was this beautiful blend of American and Japanese comics we had never seen before. I loved all of the characters and what themes they represented. Horikoshi showed how good he was at writing. The series was basically primed to take over anime and manga for the next few years. But this is where the difference between the 3 series begin. The resolution of Act 1 and a majority of Act 2. Black Clover and Demon Slayer have a clear turning point where the writing style changes a lot. For Black Clover, it's when devils are introduced to the series and the introduction of Act 2, where multiple squads are attacked. For Demon Slayer, it's when Tanjiro and his group are introduced to the Hashira and learn about the 12 Kizuki. Both of these series got so much better because of it. The arcs got longer, tension got higher, it's so much more emotional. I could go on and on about how much both of these series improved. And you don't have to take my word for it, just look at the numbers. Black Clover became the most watched anime in 87 different countries, and Demon Slayer started Act 2 with a movie that became the 3rd highest grossing traditionally animated movie of all time. On the other hand, My Hero has a really soft turning point, if any. While the tone around the villains of the series shift, and in my opinion they carry the series for basically all of Act 2, the protagonists pretty much continue doing what they're doing. Yeah, All Might went out of commission and we kinda see how the world copes with it, but it doesn't really affect our main protagonists. Outside of the Yakuza arc, you can take pretty much any hero arc in Season 4 and Season 5, put it in Act 1, and the tension wouldn't change at all. In fact, it would probably go down. And while other people blame it on the slice of life aspect of the series, I would disagree with that entirely. We've seen other shonen series focus more on non-traditional aspects, like Hunter x Hunter exploring more mature themes, or One Piece's over-the-top goofiness, or Dr. Stone's focus on inventions and intelligence. These things add to the series, not hold it back. The problem is My Hero didn't immediately change its style of storytelling. It kept on focusing on training arcs and lukewarm hero missions, which could definitely pass in Act 1 where expectations are not that high, but in Act 2 where your audience is expecting tension to get higher, it's not really gonna fly over well. This is what I mean when it got too comfortable. But it doesn't stay that way. The series makes a huge change for the climax of Act 2. Season 6 of My Hero is genuinely one of the biggest changes I've seen from season to season. Every single episode has you on the edge of your seat. The reason why is because it fixes the mistake it was making in season 5 by changing up the way it writes in 3 different ways. Firstly, the stakes are raised. A lot. This isn't some training exercise in a controlled environment at the comfort of UA, or a battle against some small-time villain that could maybe do some damage to a couple of people. The protagonists are finally on an important mission where whether they succeed or fail has a real effect on the direction the story goes. Horikoshi does a really good job of keeping you feeling tense. You're constantly reminded of the stakes by the characters, and the series even gives you a glimpse of what could happen if the heroes fail every now and then. The second thing that it changes is its pacing. Compared to season 5, where things that really shouldn't have dragged on for way too long, season 6 is quick and concise. It never spends too much time on a single scene. New events shake things up in almost every episode. That being said, it also doesn't skimp over important parts. Emotional moments are still treated with care, important revelations are fully fleshed out, and fights aren't turned into small skirmishes. The third and most important change was the protagonist's attitude and involvement. The biggest problem with My Hero during the second act was how insignificant Class 1A felt. If My Hero was a game, a lot of Act 2 would be the part where you have to pause the main story and do a bunch of side quests to level up. After a while, it just got so tiring seeing the main protagonists removed from the main story. By finally including them, the characters we originally gained an attachment to finally feel like they're important again. And it shows in their demeanor. They take everything seriously, which was something that was missing for a long while. A lot of people dropped My Hero Academia, and sadly it was justified. The series went through a period where things just got repetitive, but I think season 6 genuinely makes up for it. The series realized what it was doing wrong and fixed it. Even though the build-up for it could have been better, it's been really good. And if you're not watching, you should pick it back up. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. It would help a lot. Peace.